This is NHTV2, North Haven Government Television, a service of North Haven Community Television. The following program is brought to you through the support of the Town of North Haven.
Good evening. I'd like to call the Board of Fire Commission meeting for Tuesday, August 19, 2025 to order. Please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Good evening, all. Thank you for joining us today. I'd like to ask for the approval of the Board of Fire Commission special meeting held on June 9th, 2025.
So moved.
Do I hear a second to the motion?
Second.
Is there any question on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Chief?
Commissioners, good evening. We're going to cover a long span of time here, as we normally do in the summer, because we don't meet in July, so these numbers are going to sound rather large. But remember that we're going to cover a period of, it would be June 9th until yesterday, which was August 18th. So year to date, we are at 2,959 incidents. Since our last meeting, we provided 39 different ALS intercepts or transports, 42 different incidents to the highway, which is pretty consistent. In the summertime, we end up going to the highway quite a bit more than other times of the year. 239 incidents in which just an ambulance responded with no fire resources requested or needed. And then 161 occurrences, which accounted for 374 incidents in total, during which time there were multiple incidents occurring. And that's consistent with our 39-40% overlapping incidents that we normally see. So that covers the alarms, some significant incidents over the last couple of months, but I won't get into any detail, but we have seen a number of fatalities on the highway, and so we continue to make sure that our staff and personnel and so forth are taken care of and are consulted through my office and through the officers to make sure that there are no needs. So I do know from time to time that you read incidents in the paper or see things on the news, just know that on the backside of that, we're always providing support for our personnel as well. Regarding the budget, I want to close out fiscal year 24-25 with the following. So we were at 98.4% of our budget. And again, that's due in large part because we were asked to deliver surplus in the budget this past year. So we were able to deliver just over $108,000 back to the town general fund. As you know, this time of year, there'll be a meeting coming up at which time we need to discuss. So the town presents lines, operating lines that exceeded $20,000. We're going to have two lines that exceeded $20,000 this past fiscal year. One to be expected is the contractual replacement staffing line. That line exceeded just over $73,000. And the second line, which is going to be over $20,000, is the building maintenance and repair line. That line exceeded by almost $36,000. So contributing factors for replacement staffing, of course, is, as we've talked about, and we'll talk about again shortly, continuous long-term absences, long-term injuries that are very difficult to budget for. We do budget for two of them for several months, but as you've seen, we've had, in some cases, some go the entire fiscal year. And so we certainly make up for that in the full-time personnel line, and we do not get anything back in the budget for any of the workers' comp benefits, which I know we've talked about in the past, but there is nothing coming back. So again, keep in mind there is a compensation back to the town of somewhere around 66%. That does not appear in the fire department budget, though. Regarding the building maintenance and repair, a couple of larger items, but again, this is why I asked for an increase of that line by $20,000 this past fiscal year, and I was only granted a $10,000 increase. So knowing that this line was going to be over, which is why we requested the $20,000 increase, that is three different big numbers. One was a roof repair. One was we had to replace some of our security cameras, and a third was the fire suppression sprinkler system at headquarters needed some. There's testing and so forth that has to happen every 5 to 8 years, depending on what aspect of the system we're talking about. And so some of those were due finally.
And the roof repair, where was that done at?
West Ridge, flashing around the chimney. So when you add up those, I mean, those are the things that we have to be able to accommodate for, right? In a building line that covers 4 different stations, and 2 of the stations have parts of those buildings which are, they're 75 years old in some cases. I mean, so there's things that break and things that we need to continue to replace. So there was only a $10,000 increase given to us this budget year, so I will do my best to keep that building line in check, but based on this past year, I don't know that we'll be able to do so.
So you're talking about in the last request,
Correct.
you asked to increase it because you knew it was gonna be over and it got cut for the upcoming
For the
fiscal
upcoming
year.
fiscal year.
Okay.
Yep.
Chief, the repair on the air conditioning unit and the heating unit here in this building, what, was that part of this?
No, it doesn't come out of the building line. It comes out of a separate line
Got
for
it.
heating maintenance and repair. I
Okay.
believe it appears in the budget as heating maintenance or heating plant maintenance.
Okay.
So no, we were able to absorb that. Okay. And the other thing to note too is we did see a $10,000 overage on our electricity line, and that's like everybody else, right? You don't know those rates are going to go up. There's some talk about them going back down, and of course, if they went back down, we would be subject to that. There were no adjustments made in this current fiscal year in terms of the electrical line. We'll have to keep an eye on that moving forward. The one thing to know is that related to the building line, there was a $20,000 increase requested of the building line for this fiscal year that we're in now that was voted and approved on. Only $10,000 was increased. That $20,000 was intended to continue to absorb these costs that we're continuing to track and see in these buildings. It's worth noting that the finance director has advised me that the landscaping at the 3 outlying stations will now be taken on by the fire department and be coming out of that line as well.
Didn't we just move that out of the fire department line? I thought.
It was never in the fire department line. It was always in what we call central facilities line. He's moving it out of central facilities and moving it to the fire department line. It was a subject of conversation during a workshop, but just so your awareness. So I would expect the building line to be even more stressed than it was.
And is the reason for the move to show the actual expenses of each department versus having several departments covered by?
I don't know, because the intent of the central facilities line was always to cover an expense that impacted more than one department. And so the landscaping in this case was coming out of central facilities previously because it impacted both public works and the fire department. So,
Well, don't all the buildings have landscaping around the police department? And so are those all individually going to, like, is the library paying for their landscaping?
no, so we don't pay for the landscaping at headquarters, but we, like I said, the 3 outlying stations we're going to incur the cost of. So,
Well, obviously it's going to stress the overage
Correct.
on that particular line. So
That doesn't make any sense. We just moved the snow plowing back to where it should be, so why are we?
we never moved it. It was in central facilities as well. Public Works has taken that.
Well, we
up.
were
We were told
we were doing contractor stuff, and then
Correct.
it was
it was
said
coming out of central facilities.
okay.
So just for your awareness, just know that that's what we're dealing with. So that closed out last budget year. Moving into this next fiscal year, just keep in mind, we have to pull POs out for everything now, and so at the end of period 1, which is the first month, so that would have brought us to the end of July, 9.2%. The other thing to know is I'm not able to give you any revenue lines for both the fire fees and for the ALS billing, because I've not been provided with anything since period 8 of last fiscal year. I've asked and I've yet to receive anything. So I do not have any update for you on revenue.
And Chief, the incurred but not paid invoices that we did not submit for the 4th quarter. are applicable to the first quarter or payable in the first quarter. So that came under the 9.2% of the budget?
Nah, so they get closed out. Everything gets closed out. So anything that we have to take delivery of items in the prior fiscal year by, I don't know, I believe it's May 15th or something to that effect, May 30th.
Okay,
If we don't receive it by then that last fiscal year starts to get closed out and we don't start to incur anything until the next fiscal year.
okay.
That's
So we didn't incur any expenses in the fourth quarter that we billed in
No,
the-
I know
in
what
the
you're
first-
asking. No, we didn't roll anything over, to my knowledge, from the fourth quarter into the first
Into
quarter.
the
That's
first.
happened before. I don't believe that's happened at all in this case.
Okay, thank you.
So regarding the budget, a couple other things to keep in mind is we've had one member out, going back to what I mentioned before, on injury leave since November 6th. We expect that individual to return soon, continues on a road to recovery. We've had another injury leave that occurred on July 22nd, and that member remains out. And then we had a somewhat of a sudden resignation mid-May, and so that has left us with a vacancy. I'm doing my best to fill that vacancy, but we are not going to be able to get anybody into the academy, which starts next week. We tried, and I can cover that more in executive session, but we weren't able to do so. And so we're going to carry that vacancy for a little while, pending the ability to hire a replacement.
And it's one, there's not still a retirement out, so there's just one?
That's the same individual.
Okay.
Yeah, all one and the same.
Okay.
So that covers the budget. If there's no further questions on the budget, I'll move to the fire marshal's report.
Any further questions? No. Chief?
All right, on the fire marshal's report, you were provided June and July. So there was a lot to look at, but a couple things to point out. I'll start with the month of June, 39 total inspections, 22 plan reviews, 48 permits were approved. You can see here 56 different record requests and 48 public inquiries. We requested the fire inspectors, fire investigators to the scene on 3 different occasions. And that was in part due to the June fires. You can see 12 different fires that occurred in June. These are all structure fires. I take that back. One looks like it was a vehicle fire. The others were building fires. Then we move on to the month of July. Similar in terms of numbers, 43 inspections, 24 plan reviews, 55 permits, 59 public records, 50 public inquiries, and 4 scene investigations. In the month of July, we had 18 different fires that required a cause and origin report. Other than that, nothing further to report on the fire marshal. There was some other information provided in your package. If you have questions on it, you can certainly let me know. And if there are no questions on the fire marshal report, unfortunately, the Deputy Chief of Administration is not able to join us tonight. He had a previously scheduled vacation, which he was certainly entitled to. But Deputy Chief of Operations, Scott Bisson, has a report for you.
Good evening, Commissioners. I had broken it down both for June and July, so I'll cover June first. In June, we spent approximately 238 hours of training for the North Haven firefighters, 701 individual hours for career personnel, and 221 individual training hours for the volunteer personnel. A lot of the focus during that time was pump operator, hydraulics, water supply, and our hydrant maintenance. As you know, the town owns all of our fire hydrants, about 780 of them. We go out twice a year and perform maintenance on those hydrants. So whether it's flushing them, just making sure it operates correctly, report any problems with those. In addition, with the start of boating season, we raised awareness for everybody, get them familiar with the boat and how to operate, low tide operations. There was also something called the safety stand down, based on the military, where they do stand downs after certain events happen. Every year the fire service does a safety stand down. This year's focus was on mental and emotional health support. So for the entire week of the stand down, hitting all 4 shifts, we had different topics varying from recognition, ID of challenges, post-traumatic stress, and how to cope with things like that. From the volunteers, we had a big training that was a live fire training session down at the New Haven Fire School, where all volunteers, all of our active volunteers were down there. We actually put them into the burn building and go through things. Last year we had attempted to do that for the career personnel, but due to the drought and problems that were going on at the time, we weren't able to do that. We're going to schedule that in the near future. Additionally, we were also going over water supply and hydrant operations, and the volunteers assist with checking the hydrants in town. For the month of July, there was approximately 250 hours of training completed, 762 individual hours for career personnel, 293 individual hours for the volunteer personnel. You can see the breakdown there of the subject areas in there. From the focus standpoint, a lot of community risk reduction training for the career personnel done on all 4 shifts. We've really, through DCA Enhanced, doing some public information sharing when we're out in the public, doing different fire safety standbys when appropriate, such as the town concerts at the Green and things like that. Just trying to have everybody on the same page with the same sheet of music, sharing information. We had our annual OSHA refresher training for chemical safety in the fire stations. That was one of the things that came up in our OSHA evaluation. We also implemented quite a bit of targeted pre-planning of the commercial businesses out there, rotating companies through the districts, through the different commercial businesses. It's been going very well. As far as the volunteer training, hose line and fire stream skills, getting them actually doing practical stuff when the weather was cool enough to do that. There's been some hot days, there's been some cool days, so we take advantage of what we can there. Volunteers also had to do the chemical safety. We reviewed the lessons learned in our live fire training. When you don't do something very often, I think the last time the volunteers did live fire training was 5 years ago. So getting them out there, learning from the experience and trying to implement that more often, we'll be doing that. Then we also did some salvage and overhaul drills. On the last page, you can kind of see the status of our fire training grounds improvements up there. This was the live fire demonstration that we did back at the beginning of July on cooking fire safety. We did 3 different evolutions. One about using extinguishers or using the wrong extinguisher for the wrong fire type and what can happen. We had a mock kitchen built, and we showed how quickly a fire can spread in there. And then the last one was how to, if you had a gas grill catch on fire, lack of maintenance, grease spills, something like that, how quickly it can spread to vinyl siding, things like that in the homes. I want to thank North Haven TV for actually capturing the video and putting together a really good educational session for that and putting it out there for all of the public to see. So that's been really good. We also did some marine rescue training and navigation. And on a positive side, we believe we have about 5 high school students interested in becoming explorers starting in the fall. So trying to ramp that up and get, raise awareness and get these kids in here and teach them a little bit about the fire service, the emergency service as a whole.
With the explorers, how many did we have last year?
Last year we had 5 explorers, 4 completed the entire program and were clear to continue to come to drills, things like that. And they are all still involved.
Okay.
So with school starting up, quite honestly, one of the challenges is the school sports. We did have one explorer who had to drop back because of conflicts with school sports, but then he was able to attend a summer program at the Connecticut Fire Academy, a week-long introduction to the fire service, gained a lot of experience from that. We're hoping he'll be able to come back and join the explorers this time around.
Okay.
But that's it for my reports on June and July.
Thank you. Chief, how many volunteers do you have participating in the training?
I believe we're at about 13 and 13 from each company. There is approximately 6 probationary members in the Northeast Company. I think there's 3 probationary members with 1 on long-term leave from the West Ridge Company. We just lost 4 volunteers. 2 got hired by other departments. 1 for lack of making the availability to make calls, and 1 actually relocated due to his job from Connecticut to California.
So does that, what's the total?
26.
26 is the total now?
Yeah.
So I ran those numbers right before related to another matter. So West Ridge currently has 9 certified members with 2 on probation. Northeast has 5 certified members with 6 on probation. Yeah.
Say that last part again.
Northeast has 5 certified members with 6 probation.
And you said there's 1 on long-term leave?
Yeah, one of the probationary members in West Ridge, shortly after joining the department, was deployed to Germany with the military.
Oh, okay,
So on long-term leave pending return to the U.S.
okay.
Thank you, Chief. Any comments regarding the Chief's report? Hearing none, we'll move on to correspondence. Chief, have you received any correspondence?
I have 3 correspondence. I'll just cover them briefly and then I can pass it on to you. One was we conducted a visit at the high school during the month of May and discussed careers in the fire service and emergency medical services with high school students. There's a letter here that reflects that. Another letter is from the Connecticut Gold Star Mothers thanking us for use of a building for a meeting. And a third is a memo from the Chief of Wallingford regarding a mutual aid response that occurred on June 25th. Other than those 3 written letters, I have no other correspondence other than the usual day-to-day correspondence of the
Thank you.
department.
Has any commissioners received any correspondence?
I have not.
Chief, old business of the fire department.
I looked through our June meeting and nothing stuck out at me as something that we needed to cover from my perspective for old business.
How about new business for the fire department?
New business, I have nothing for the commission at this time, unless the commission has anything.
I have some questions. Is this a good time?
Yes, please.
Okay. On one of the handouts that we have, the fee totals,
Yeah, so that needs to be validated by the finance department, which is why that's what I wait for, is for that report from the finance department, because that's coming from auto-generated from the permit filing.
so on the table, where there's the total, year-to-date total, 452, 540, that's a projected?
No, I'm gonna say it's projected, but it's not validated.
Not
So,
yet, okay.
Correct. So I wait for the actual money to appear in the revenue line and for the finance department to provide us with the monthlies, just like the Board of Finance gets, right? They get a rev, so I rely on that as the numbers that I would provide you.
So the third column where it says amount, what is this 55,572 for? Is that what's allocated to the fire department for use?
Probably not, no. Yeah, so that's something that permit filing system, view permit, is pulling, and I'd have to go into it and see exactly what that is. I'm guessing what that is the monthly. So the 55,572 is the month, and then the 452 is the fiscal year. Oh, I'm sorry, that looks like calendar year. See, it says year to date.
Yeah, it's calendar year. No,
Yeah.
I see that.
Yep. But again, I really want to see what's reflected in the town budget.
Okay. I was trying to figure out if there's a formula that there
Right.
are fees generated and there's a percent of it given to the fire department.
There's nothing there's
But
always.
that's what I thought maybe.
Yeah,
this
no,
might
wishful
be.
thinking there. Yeah,
Okay.
no.
That's something, Pat, that we had discussed many times as
Yeah,
to
I know. Yeah.
whether or not, and why it wasn't that going to the fire department. But obviously, it all goes into the general fund.
Well, I have hope. I have hope that there might be some someday. And the other thing, we had a preview of possible position descriptions some time ago by a Quintern.
Yep, I should have that for you next month. Deputy Chief Naples has the latest version right now, and we should be able to have something to you very shortly.
Okay.
Yep.
That's all I have.
Jen, anything?
I'm good.
You good? Ben?
No, sir.
Okay.
Oh,
Chief, the good of the department.
I have a few things for the commission. One is the repairs, remodeling, however you want to word it, at Northeast continues, is ongoing. If you'd like, we can set up some time maybe to go there and visit. I can have Yvonne set up something with the commission so we can go there and take a look around. But the second floor is finally, after 12 years, looks like it's going to be accessible and usable at this time by the volunteers, who are absolutely ecstatic to have some social space to be able to congregate, and that looks like it's coming together very well. So the Plumbing is being completed now. The electrical should be done very soon, waiting on the plumbing next. Appliances are being ordered, some day room materials are being ordered, and that should be a functional space within the next 30 days, I would say. There's some technology we still need to work on putting in there, like things for the radios and for lighting system and station notification, but that's not going to stop us, particularly in this case, the volunteers that remain there. That's not going to stop us from using it for their needs. So definitely, if you see on a Wednesday night that they're there, stop in. They will let me know that you're there right away. But if you want to
Yes.
just stop in and take a look and pop out, that's fine. If you want to set up something a little more longer term, we can certainly do so. Regarding our apparatus, I try to give an update on the state of our apparatus. So we continue with some aggressive preventive maintenance on our apparatus as often as we can. However, it is worth noting that right now we do not have an aerial truck in service. We have two for the purposes of trying to keep one in service at all times. But unfortunately right now, both of our aerial trucks are out of service, and so we are relying on mutual aid right now for a ladder truck should we need one. I expect that to be the case for probably the next 1 to 2 weeks, potentially longer. Truck one had some ongoing maintenance issues that it needed to be serviced for, and there gets to be a point in time when you just can't wait any longer. You've already got it scheduled; it's got to go. But unfortunately, we thought we were going to have truck two available to us during this period of time, and truck two had an incident with its transmission and needed to come out of service immediately, and so we are without both. And unfortunately, Rescue 2, which is a 2013 rescue that we have, is frequently out of service right now. We're beginning to chase a lot of issues with that apparatus, and so that remains out of service. We've got that delivered again today for repair through an outside vendor, and we're hopeful for its return. Other than that, I have nothing further for apparatus, and I have nothing further at this point for good of the department.
Chief, one question as we were talking about Northeast, we were talking about the fire hydrant being in operation. Is that in operation now in the front, and are we able to pull hose to the training ground?
Sure. So we did have a hydrant installed. We're waiting for it to be kind of certified, if you will, to figure out what kind of gallonage and pressure we're going to get out of it. But a number of years ago, I had the water company put a water main under Route 5 before it was paved. And so there was a gate valve box there. We ended up having them just put a hydrant in right there at the street side. And unfortunately, it's far short of the training area, but it's better than nothing right now. So we're able to lay some hose and operate as best we can. So hopefully at some point we can secure some funding to bring the hydrants closer to where we need to be, because otherwise we're laying quite a bit of hose out to make that operational.
Good. Any other comments regarding good of the department? Public comments? There's no one here this evening for that. I'll entertain a motion to move into executive session.
So.
There a second?
Second.
Yeah, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So moved. I'd like to reconvene the Tuesday, August 19, 2025 North Haven Fire Commission meeting to order. Is there any further business coming before this commission? Here are none. I'd just like to announce that our next regularly scheduled Board of Fire Commission meeting will be on Tuesday, September 16th, 2025 at 6 p.m. here at Monowese Company 2, 282 Quinnipiac Avenue. I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much. This meeting's adjourned.
The preceding program is brought to you in part through a grant from the town of North Haven. Watch town meetings or other videos on demand at nhtv.com.